Imagine a world where your next offer sells out before you even launch it. And if you're not familiar with how this works, some of the largest brands do this right in front of your nose, and they make millions of dollars every year doing this strategy. So in this video, I'm going to break down how you can go and do this for yourself and your business to go and generate leads and make more revenue. We installed this method recently for one of our clients, and it sold out their offer before they'd even launched it. So I'm going to walk you through how to do this step by step in the video. So let's get into it. Okay, this strategy is super simple, and not a lot of businesses actually go and do this. And it's basically called a register your interest campaign or a waitlist campaign. So what does that actually mean? It basically means having a queue of people lining up to work with you before you even launch your product or service. And Daniel Priestley, who is pretty famous now, Australian entrepreneur, he's used this strategy, and he speaks about this strategy all the time. And he's used this strategy to build multiple million-dollar businesses by basically getting oversubscribed. This is what he calls this strategy, is like how to get people lining up to do business with you. So imagine if you have your business right now and there was already a queue of people lining up outside the door, knocking on your door saying, yes, I want to work with you. So if you run a service-based business, you've got like a CRM and a list of people who have already registered their interest to go and work with you. That is the ideal scenario for every business. So he basically explains that being oversubscribed is having demand far exceed the supply, and we'll go and walk through some examples about this. So basically people queuing up to work with you, and it's boiled down into these three steps. So it's basically, firstly, get attention; secondly, collect the interest. So we're not trying to sell people, we're just trying to collect interest. And then the third is actually opening the doors to a select few line of buyers. Now, Elon Musk has done this strategy before. So a good example is when he went to go and launch the Tesla Model 3. He basically said, we've not even started production of this car, but if you register your interest, you'll be the first ones to actually get allocated the cars. And basically, he, in the first week, generated 325,000 registrants. So you can see that he uses this strategy. I'm pretty sure he did this for the flamethrower as well. And a really good example as well is like Glastonbury, which is a massive festival in the UK. It's like the largest festival in the world, if not one of them. And you can't just buy a ticket for Glastonbury. You've got people literally opening their laptop at 6 a.m, chomping at the bit, ready to buy a ticket, and they sell out within about 3 minutes. There's 700,000 people who register for the tickets for Glastonbury, and there's only 130,000 tickets available. So what you have to do is you basically go onto the website and you sign up for the mailing list, and they tell you, hey, we're opening the doors, and then you've got to be quick on the trigger to actually go and buy a ticket. And like I said, they sell out immediately. And it's the same strategy that Rolex do as well. You can't just walk into Rolex on the high street and then just go, yeah, I'll have that one. You basically go in and then you tell them which watch that you like, and then they will give you a call, and you'll be basically be put on a wait list for about 12 months all the way up to, it could be 3 years, and they tell you, look, you've got 48 hours to go and buy this, and then you can actually go and buy the Rolex. And even if you go on the website, you basically have to just inquire. So these are some of the this is the strategy that some of the largest businesses in the world use. And now how Daniel Priestley explains this is you basically want to drive people over to a register landing page or a waitlist landing page. And I'll just give you an example of what that might look like. So an example would be you have to get attention first, and then you drive traffic over to something like a waitlist, and then you would have a very simple title like, are you ready to get better results with your lead generation in 2026? And then you basically collect their information. So you want to have their first name, last name, email, whatever it may be, whatever suits your business. And then once you've collected that information, you want to ask a few more qualifying questions, and just to get a bit more information about the prospect. So you might have a question that says like, which one best describes you? I'm a solopreneur, or I've got a company size, 1 to 10, or 10 to 50, or 50 plus. And then you might ask another question like, what's your biggest struggle right now? It's lead generation, it's client fulfillment, or whatever it may be. You want to ask a few of these questions, because you've done the hard part, is actually getting them over to the landing page. Now, all of these questions and answers will help you sort of do your marketing further, segment the list, and then reach out to people with a better message. And you can also change your product or service based on what people have actually answered. So another example here would be if you're a business consultant, you might say something like, if you're a business consultant and you can only work with, 8 to 10 people or businesses per month, you might want to say to people, look, I'm fully booked for the remainder of this year, but in January, I'm opening up my slots. So join the wait list and I will let you know when I've got slots available. So that when people put their information in, and then they might actually put some information about like what's their monthly or yearly revenue, what are they struggling with right now. And then Lewis, this person, this is just a blanket example, but he can then go and cherry pick and go, wow, I've got 100 people on the wait list. I can only work with 8 people at the start of January. I'm going to select the best 8 people that I want to work with, that I think I can get great results. It's similar to what I do. I can only work with 3 businesses per month, and this has to be transparent, because if it's not transparent and you're only saying that you can work with 8 people per month and you're bringing on like 20, 40 per month, then it's not ethical, and it's just not the right way to do things. People will find out. So for me, I can only work with 3 people per month for my one-on-one consulting, because I still run my lead generation agency, working with other clients. But for my one-on-one consulting, it's very hands-on, and I actually work with people where they can book a call with me anytime. So if I had more than 3 per month at this stage of where I'm at right now with my setup, then I would be too busy and it would just be absolute chaos. So that's why we do things like that. And then another example is if we look at Glastonbury's here. So if we go over to the website, like I was saying, you can't just buy a ticket for Glastonbury. You basically have to go down, and then you go onto the website, and then you sign up to their mailing list, and then they just send you email communications sooner to the time, like when it's actually going to launch and when it's actually going to be available. Obviously, they're like nurturing you along the process and along the line to sort of build up that pent-up demand. So then that's why everyone's there at 6 a.m, sort of finger on the trigger, trying to actually go and buy a ticket. So once you've actually got people over to this landing page, like I was saying, you want to capture their information, and then from there, you're probably thinking, like, how do I actually go and promote this? It's as simple as you basically tell people, look, I'm opening the doors to a select few people. Then you send people emails. You could do retargeting ads. You could post this on social media, whatever it may be, and you tell people, look, I'm opening the doors, and I'm only working with a select few people. So, for example, if you pull in 1,000 emails and you've only got 100 slots available, that is what you would actually promote to people. And that's what actually gets people to buy. So we've all sort of been in that scenario where, like, you've tried to buy a ticket for something, or you tried to buy a clothing item from a store or something, and they've only got a limited supply. You are going to be sort of first there, and you're going to, if you really want the product or you really want the service, you're going to be like first there trying to actually get access to the product or go and buy the product. So you want to actually tell people, and not a lot of people actually say this. And for example, if you've got a business right now and you look at it and you had 1,000 people queuing up to work with you, and then you opened up the doors, could you even take on 1,000 people right now? Probably not in one go, in one day. Like, could you even onboard 1,000 people? Probably not. So what Daniel Priestley always talks about is, like, make sure you actually advertise this. And Sarab Subi, if you know who he is, he's on Shark Tank. He always explains that, you should actually advocate and tell people how many clients that you can actually go and work with. Otherwise, if you've just got your door that's open, it's like walking past a cafe and no one's even sat in there. You might sort of think twice and go like, oh, I probably won't go in there. It looks a bit quiet. Or you go into a restaurant and it's just crickets in there, you're probably just going to swerve that and move on and go, oh Christ, am I going to get food poisoning? So it's the same situation here, and this is why we do this. So the reason why, just to loop back, the reason why this works so well is you're only asking for like a very small micro commitment, and that micro commitment is literally just put in your email and you'll be on the wait list. We're not trying to, bombard you or sell you straight away, or we're not trying to get you on a sales call or anything crazy like that. It's just a micro commitment. You put in your information, maybe you answer a couple of questions, and then we'll let you know when the doors are open. So all we're trying to do here, the main thing is, like, we're just trying to collect signals, and this works like specifically well when you're trying to launch a new product, because you want the signals from the market of being like, okay, like, people want this product or service, and then that will determine and that will warrant you going, okay, maybe I should go and actually launch this product, or maybe I should put some more marketing dollars behind this product or service. So the $1 million question is, how do you get people landing on this landing page? So how do you get people to actually land on this page? So add yourself to the waitlist. Like, how on earth do you actually go and promote this? So you've really got 3 forms of actually getting people signed up. In terms of advertising and lead generation, you can run paid ads to something like this, like a register your interest campaign or a wait list. You've got outreach, so you can do cold outreach to people and say, like, hey, I'm actually launching this in the new year. I just wanted to get your thoughts on this. If you want to actually go and sign up, you can sign up via the link here, collect their information. or you might want to post it on social media or on your content. So in this practical example, I'm going to explain what we did for one of our clients pretty recently, actually, just off the back of using this idea with register your interest. So what we did is we used paid ads on Meta, and so Facebook and Instagram ads. And what we did is this client is in one city in the UK, and they offer team sports for the over 50s. And they've been running in this city in the UK for about 5 to 7 years now. What they wanted to do is basically expand into 2 different cities at the same time. But what we didn't know is, is there even demand for this in these other cities? We know it works in this one city, that's fine. But should we run a small test to see, okay, yeah, are people actually going to register their interest? Like, would they sign up to somewhat of a wait list? So then we know internally, okay, this is actually a viable product. Like, we should actually go and launch this in these new cities. We should put far more marketing dollars behind it. So they wanted to launch in Swindon and Bristol, and they do team sports like football, rugby, netball, and basketball for males and females. So what we did is we run a very small test, which was called a register your interest campaign. This is just like a top level view of actually what we did. So we had different ads, and then we directed people over to a form on Facebook or a landing page. And basically the forms were, and the landing page said, register your interest for team sports in Swindon. And then what we did is we collected that information here, and then we basically said, which sport are you interested in playing? Football, touch rugby, netball, or basketball. So we're not only collecting their name and email, we're basically asking them which sport they're interested in. And the reason why we actually did this as a test is because the business wanted to know, like, do I go and hire the courts? Do I even put any more marketing spend into this? Is it even a viable product to go and launch in a new city, or should we just stick to doing what we're doing? Like, this little test just answered so many questions, and I'll show you the results in a second. But in terms of the flow of how this works, it's super simple. You just drive people over to a landing page like this, or a form on Facebook, and then we collect their data. We tag them in the CRM, so we use Go High Level. We tagged which sport they were interested in, and then we put them into the email newsletter. And then what we did is we had a launch day in mind. Obviously, it was kind of like based on, do we even launch this? But we'll have a launch day in mind. And then when we found enough signals and went, okay, well, yes, lots of people are inquiring about this. They're all interested in all these different sports. That's when we can send them email communication and go, hey, we're about to launch this. We're about to launch this. We're about to launch this. And then boom, we're actually launching this on this day. Be there. Here's the link. And then people actually signed up straight away. So we actually did this for both cities. So we did this for Swindon and Bristol, the exact same campaign, just in different locations. And we just did this very small test. So you can see here in this one, we did Swindon and Bristol, and we were getting the cost per lead was about £1. So if you're in the US, I don't know what that is, like $1.40. And it was $1.40 to get someone's name, email address, phone number. I think we had phone number, and then what sport they were interested in. So all we needed was this like quick signal for the first couple of weeks to actually go and launch this campaign, to be like, wow, people are really interested in this. If we're getting a lead for £1, like let's go and scale this. So what we actually did from there is we actually launched, we put some more marketing dollars into direct ad campaigns. So we've gone, right, we've got these leads who are interested. They've already registered their interest. Let's use emails to just get those people signed up. That's fine. I think like 50% of those people signed up anyway. And then because we've got enough signals and we go, okay, well, people in Swindon and Bristol are interested in playing football, rugby, and netball. What we did is we ran different marketing campaigns targeting those people who were interested in all those individual sports. This was football Swindon, this was Bristol Swindon, and so on and so forth. And then this was targeting a new audience, and then we just drove them to the launch day. So this actually, I think we only did a short campaign, and we've generated about 300, so like 400-ish, 400, 500-ish leads just from off the back of this campaign. So we did the register your interest campaign, and then we were like, right, you know what, let's put some actual real marketing dollars behind it to actually go and get people signed up. But we wouldn't have actually done this separate campaign if we didn't know what the signals were going to be, and were people even interested in this product or service in this new location. So this is what we did afterwards, but I'm not going to get into that. So if you think about your business right now, like, have you got a product or service that you want to launch, or should you be launching somewhat of a wait list, or are you even advocating to people that you only work with a select few people? Probably not. Could you create a very simple landing page with like a data collection and then some email flows in the back end, basically promoting to people, hey, I'm going to open the doors in X amount of time, or next month, or next year, or in the first quarter of new year, whatever it may be? Could you be doing this to actually build up more of a demand, and then that outweighs the supply? Because that is what people are drawn to. If you just look at these examples here with Glastonbury and the Tesla Model 3 and Rolex, this is what these companies and these brands do every single year. So if you do want some help with your lead generation and you want some one-on-one support with me creating a lead generation campaign, then click the link below and you'll be able to find out how I might be able to help you. There's a video, it explains everything, and I will see you on the next one. Peace.